2005 was an amazing year for games. You had games like Resident Evil 4, Ultimate Spider-Man, God of War, Need for Speed Most Wanted. You get the idea. But in this amazing year for games, some just got swept under the rug. In particular, a game that I think is overlooked with a theme that is super underused in my opinion, and made by an awesome developer, is the 2005 Western classic Gun, developed by Neversoft, who you may recognize from the Tony Hawk series. And while they were busting their ass to make a Tony Hawk game every single year, they made just enough time for a personal project, a cinematic Western game. With an amazing cast of characters, a short but awesome story, a killer soundtrack, and solid, for the time, gameplay, combined together to make this banger of a game. This is another childhood classic for me, even though when I was young I get stuck a lot, but it always stuck with me. So today I wanted to jump back to 2005 and play through this gem again, and see if it still holds up. I'm going to cover the story, a little bit of the gameplay, just a general review and retrospective. So, going over the story as briefly as I can, I do want to cover the whole thing. So, obviously this is your warning now, spoilers for the entire story of Gun. Though this game is almost 20 years old, so you should have played it by now. Anyways, with that being said, let's go. We start with a nice little cutscene of a group of people trekking through a storm only to get ambushed for their goods. Love this little cutscene, always kind of scared me as a kid, I don't know why, but it's good kind of context to the mystery of, what were they carrying and what's the deal, and then it just jumps 300 years later. So now it's 1880, deep in the woods of Montana, we step into the shoes of Colton White, voiced by the legendary Thomas Jane, who you may know from the Punisher movie and video game. Another underrated banger we need to talk about on this channel. But either way, he does great here as Cole. It starts with us hunting with our father Ned, hunting big game for a steamboat, acting as basically a tutorial on the basic features of the game, the movement, the shooting, the health system, a feature that we have as well, a little ability called Quick Draw, kind of like Deadeye from the Red Dead series. It's something to easily dispatch enemies. It's a fun little mechanic, and even to this day it still feels pretty solid. You can feel the game's age with just about every mechanic, but it still works really well. So back to the story. All is well, we're hunting elk, having a good old time, eventually hunting down wolves. Well, they're kind of hunting us because they're trying to take our game, but we handle them with ease. Feeling pretty good until a big-ass bear comes along and almost takes our old man out. But since we're so awesome, and this is really just the intro, we whoop the bear's ass pretty quick in a little mini boss fight. We skin him and head to the steamboat, getting this simple but nice little title card. So on this said steamboat, Ned is now all sussy, talking all secret-like to this lovely lady. While we're waiting on him, we run across a creepy-ass preacher by the name of Reed, voiced by the legendary Brad Dourif, who you may recognize from Child's Play as the voice of Chucky.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
I love this guy. So far, the cast is already stacked with just amazing talent. So he does the creepy shit, and we try to shrug it off, and we do, until we're big chillin', just enjoying the ride. Reed starts a conflict with the lady that Ned was talking to about an item, more than likely the one that we seen for a brief moment being stowed away in the boat's safe. She refused to give him what he wants, resulting in her getting a hatchet to the dome piece, and the preacher signaling an attack. These zombie-looking mofos hop aboard, and, well, it's time to jump into action. Popping our way through the boat, trying to, keep it afloat, the hits just keep coming. After running and gunning and rocking on this cannon on this tie boat, we make our way to Ned with little to no time as the boilers are now going to blow. He gives us a token and a mission. Go to the Alhambra Saloon in Dodge City and ask for Jenny. Then he throws us overboard before the boat blows. We get knocked out in the process, and can only assume that he's dead now. Off to a good start, if you ask me. So now, In this little cutscene, we're introduced to the main bad of the story, Thomas Magruder, voiced by Lance Hendrickson. Going off on the preacher as he failed to deliver the item, so he does a reasonable thing and, well, takes a ear. Seems like a solid dude, but with that being out the way, we're going to go back to Cole for now. Wakes up on the shore to this goofy looking fellow looting us for our token, and before we whoop his ass, he gives it back and introduces himself as Honest Tom, a name I'm sure holds true to his character. But wasting no time, we offer to buy one of his horses, even though we're about broke as fuck, but he won't sell it to us. But he will wager it for the token that we have on us. So, we accept the wager and go through a few challenges on horseback. Again, acting as more of another tutorial. From racing to shooting on horseback, we win the horse fair and square until...
God damn it took you long enough.
So much for your name.
You really think I'd give up my ride without a fight?
He does, some bitch shit. So using the skills we learned from Dishonest Tom, we murk him and his friends and make our way to Dodge City. Little side note, the game's map is fairly small, just the general world. I mean, it's decent sized.
That's what she said!
But relatively small in the grand scheme of things. We could have low-key walked to Dodge City from where we were, but it was a good excuse to show us how to play the game. Anyways, moving back to the story.
You're lucky. This is my last run till further notice. The fugitive band of Apaches are on the warpath again. They cut the telegraph and destroy the bridge leading out of Dodge.
What's got them stirred up?
New railroad between Dodge and Empire. Cuts through their land.
Now arriving in the super small town of Dodge City, don't know where anybody would live here. We head out to the Alhambra Saloon to find Jenny and try to figure out more about this journey we're on. And she clues us in a little on the lady Ned was talking to. But of course, that doesn't come without some conflict.
Tell you. Now have another drink on me and I'll be with you shortly.
He ain't getting a poke before us.
Let go of me!
Not till I'm done with you, bitch. Come on!
So now, shooting our way through the saloon to save Jenny, we do so, some more running and gunning, a fun little mission. We get to Jenny and pop her captor in the head. After doing so, she shows us some of the stuff that Ned left behind.
Better show you this now before the rest of the Red Hands show up. It's all yours. Night before she left, Sadie begged me to keep it safe till Ned came for it. Poor girl was in love with him, I think.
Ned never cared much for six guns. Rifle and tomahawk were his choosing. Where'd Sadie go from here?
Empire, New Mexico. A new sporting house wanted her for the main attraction, but she ran off a short time after she got there.
Huh, you know why?
No, but maybe I'll find out. Soon as the roads open, I'm going to Empire to replace her.
Back. Burn it to the ground. That bastard killed my brother.
So it only gets worse. As the guy we literally just shot in the face, his brother is outside, ready to burn this bitch to the ground. So we stand our ground and fight back, shooting the thugs coming in to burn the place down until homie finally calls us out, giving us this really badass scene. This scene always stuck with me, I love it.
Let's settle this thing. If you got the balls.
Finishing off the remaining thugs, we're greeted by the sheriff of the town, who was no help at all, and instead of arresting us for the mass murder and the complete chaos we were involved in, he wants to, hire us? Alright. See you tomorrow, boss. Anyways, getting dressed up and ready to go help the sheriff after doing who knows what to Jenny. I mean, we know, but we'll just leave it at that. Leave it to the imagination. She tells us she's seen the preacher asking for Sadie about a week ago, saying he was from Empire City, which is where Jenny is going once the bridge gets fixed. So, We're gonna go help fix the bridge and tag along with her. So it's time to meet up with the sheriff now. And he has a task for us. Protect the workers so they can finish the bridge. A native tribe has been preventing him, so we'll do our best to help him out so we can go with Jenny to Empire City to piece some more of the story together. Now I want to state really quick, I know that some people came after this game because of the depiction of Native Americans in the game. I don't really want to touch on that. I'm going to leave it to your own opinion if it's offensive. I don't really take it that way, except for the obvious, the way people talk about them in the game. But I always took that as the take on how Native Americans were treated, in the 1800s, which was awful in reality. But I'm not Native American, so I can't say what is or isn't offensive in that regard. Anyways, we're just wanted to put that out there. I am aware. Now, with the bridge done, it's time to fight another boss, Quick Killer, the leader of the tribe attacking the bridge. This was one of the parts I actually got stuck on as a kid, and as an adult, I actually found it really easy. Still fun though. It's a tight area, which is stressful but in a good way, and not too hard. We finished the job, the bridge is done, so now it's time to go meet up with Jenny and head to Empire City.
We're likely to meet Apaches along the way.
If they get the upper hand, promise you'll put a bullet in my head before they have their fun.
So as we ride through the plains, protecting the stagecoach, we get to see a little bit more of the open world, or at least the in-betweens, and the landscapes. And at the time, I thought this map felt huge. It's, again, not, but it still has a great vibe to it, though it is a little empty. Except, of course, in these missions, obviously. But moving on, we're riding with the stagecoach, fighting off the Native Americans. All is going well until our shotgun messenger is just straight murked and takes the wheel off. We can fix it, but we need a little time.
Damn!
I'll buy you some with this.
Without a shotgun messenger, we hop on the wagon and blast our way through the Badlands, fighting all the way to Empire City. This mission feels pretty hectic and fun, and it's kind of the first of many. This is where the game starts getting a little more trigger happy, at least it feels like. Arriving in Empire, after our battle through the Badlands, we meet Hoodoo Brown, the mayor of Empire City, voiced by the legendary Ron Perlman, who you might know from Sons of Anarchy. Great show, by the way, and Hellboy, of course. He is willing to help us after he helps Jenny freshen up, but before we leave, we see some random that I'm sure won't come back to the story throwing firebombs at one of the buildings. What a crazy NPC. Anyways, after checking out Empire, doing some side missions, we finally head back to talk to Hoodoo. We're introduced to his right-hand men, Weber and Rudabar. He makes us an offer for his help to be a deputy. Man, I wish it was that easy to get a job. Damn, I know I could use a new one. And our new job starts now, as a bunch of Resistance members, a group of rebel outlaws, were spotted in town. So let's head out and hunt them down.
Them Apaches don't start pulling this thing together, I don't know what we're gonna do.
If you're wanted in this fairly small town, why are you just hanging around and then proceed to be shocked you got shot at? Anyways, we chase him down to a ranch, getting into another shootout, surprise, surprise. With the Resistance cleared out and no sign of Chavez, just a couple hiding in their barn from the craziness that was just going on, we should probably just get going. Well, shit. Can't let that fly. We threaten to take Webb and Rudabar in, but they of course just fight back, saying it's the way that it goes and Hoodoo understands and has been playing us and Jenny. Well, we don't agree. So now, it's time for a double boss fight. I'll be honest, this was another annoying one for me growing up, and even as an adult, I had a little bit of trouble, at least the first time trying it again. Maybe because Webb is whipping around, like on his horse, and he gave me some trouble at first. But nevertheless, we still handle it. Now, it's time to confront Hoodoo, and it's all happening a little too fast. The story is kind of just jumping so quick, if you ask me. But I'll get into more of that a little later. Let's move on with the story for now. We come storming into Hoodoo's place, gun drawn, and homie is still lying to us. But no time for that, we hear a scream. It's Jenny. Rushing up the stairs, we see Jenny just get dealt with right in front of us. Forgetting Hoodoo is behind us, he knocks us out we as Cole meet Magruder for the first time. He wants us dead, so instead of dealing with us, then and there, they decide to frame us for the murder of Jenny, and we're sent off to jail. Son of a bitch. Waking up in jail, we meet Port, a member of the Resistance, and that dude we seen lighting that building up when we got to Empire. And one of my favorite characters from this game we also meet here, Soap.
What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh?
We decide we don't like jail, so we're gonna make a break for it. So when the drunk guard is kicking at Soap's cell, we snatch him up, but he doesn't have the keys. But he does have a badge that we can use to pick the lock. So he gets dealt with, and we open our cell and grab our gear. With Port all beaten up and Soap in a tough-to-pick cell, we need to snatch up 3 horses and some TNT before we can leave. Stealth is not great in this game, but I always really like this mission. So after we get some horses and grab a barrel of TNT, we blow up Soap's cell and ride out of Empire, where we part ways with Soap, for now, and follow Port back to his hideout to meet the rest of the gang. Roaming through the Badlands with Port, he gives us a little bit more detail on what Magruder is doing. Kinda. He's looking for something, which we kinda already knew. Port doesn't know much more than that, but his leader does. We make it to the hideout of the Resistance, only to of course get recognized and threatened. That is until their leader, Clay, found a picture of Ned on us. We explain that he was our father, which is news to him as he served with Ned in the war, and said he was killed. A little convenient for the story, but I'll let it slide. This is enough for Clay to trust us, and while we were only a lawman for 2 seconds, we now join the Resistance as a rebel, as they have a similar goal to ours. So wasting no time, the goal is to take over Empire City from Hoodoo, and to do that, we need all the firepower we can get. So, we're going to steal a Gatling gun that's being transported by train using some TNT, and the environment to our advantage. But before we can execute the plan, we of course get hit with some bullshit. Some of the boys thought that they could just take the train as it passed through Dodge, but of course, they could not. So, we gotta go save they dumbasses, basically. Which just why? Why they go do that stupid ass shit? Feels kind of like an extra to this mission, but whatever. We come storming in, guns blazing, and take out the men and the riders. And as the train starts taking back off, we have to race back to the ambush spot. When we finally get back, it's time to finally let the rest of our plan unfold. Subtle, but I like it. Back in another gunfight going up against a handful of goons as they're trying to reach for the Gatling gun, which I want to mention, where's the rest of the Resistance? They were down to fight outside of Dodge, but not here. It's just me, Clay, and Port. That's some bullshit, but anyways, we clean them up, get the Gatling gun, but it seems that's not all this train was transporting.
They want water. Bring up some canteens.
Oh, shit.
Di inne at
And take them home.
Inde slago na since said na di tin beka.
Now I've set many free.
Where did you learn Apache?
I'm not sure. It's like I could understand what he was saying, but I couldn't quite speak it.
Now this is another thing I found a little funny. I guess it makes more sense later, but how you gonna know their language without knowing you knew? But it makes sense, and if you're paying attention, when Cole has the sleeves rolled up with the Resistance outfit, you can see he has tribal tattoos. A little fishy, I don't know, but remember this dude, as he will be important later. Though by his presence, you could probably already tell. Either way, it's time to head back to the hideout and celebrate a little, and of course plan our attack. Having a good old time, chilling around the fire. Clay tosses us a drink and clues us in a little more about Magruder. He was Clay's commanding officer in the war.
It was rumored a white man in the area had been to the Lost City. Ned led us to him.
Dr. Campbell, I presume. Major Magruder, Texas Mounted Rifles.
You're in the wrong place if you're hunting Federals, Major.
I'm not hunting Federals, Doctor. Corporal Allison. Where is the cross?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's he saying?
He says one day you will find what you seek, and that day will be your last.
Jesus, Tom. Having time for games, Doctor.
Stop it, Tom. I never agreed to this.
First off, damn, he is just such a brutal guy. Second, how you gonna pop Ned like that? Like, obviously he survived, but dude doesn't have patience for anything. Anyways, he's after a city of gold. Sounds pretty wild, but kinda awesome. We don't have much time to think about that, though, as we're getting attacked by Magruder's men. Time to put those weapons we stole to use. Fighting him off as Clay gets the Gatling gun working, we take him out fairly easily. So Clay's gonna go check the ridge to see if they're sending another wave of riders. So we hold the fort down, and they do keep coming, this time with a cannon. Time to rush the field and take out the remaining men, and of course secure another piece of heavy artillery. So it's time to celebrate some more.
Yeah! My God, look at him run!
Hey! They captured Clay, up on the ridge. They're taking him to Empire.
It's over now. We're licked.
Bullshit. Now we got a howitzer and a Gatling gun. Let's put them to use.
It's no good, kid. They know where we are now. We'll be back tomorrow with twice the men.
Then let's do what they don't expect. Attack.
Well, fuck. Let's just do the damn thing then. We talk with Port real quick and immediately head out to Empire. He fills us in on the plan, and we meet up outside of Empire with not a lot of men here, like with us, for some reason, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So we have to protect Port as he moves the cannon into position. Running through Hoodoo's men while Port's slow ass drags his cannon through town, we finally get into position and hop on this cannon to survive Hoodoo's counterattack, which is always fun, especially when you get to use a cannon. With that out the way, it's time to rescue Clay. Going through these tunnels, running and gunning, we find our boy. Damn. Well, we rescue Clay, but he's too weak. At least too weak to fight. So we'll have to go at it alone. It's time for another boss fight. I do like these boss fights, though. And I'll say this one's pretty intense. This is where the game gets a little harder. Not by much, but you can feel the slight shift throughout each mission in like difficulty, and I like it. Their plan for some reason is to burn the place down and take me with it. Kinda out there, but it makes this fight more intense and pretty cool. We take down the rest of his men and finally one-on-one confront Hoodoo.
Please, kid. Just let me go. I'll give you whatever you want.
I want some answers. Let's start with a steamer. Why was it ambushed? Tell me, or I'll turn your brains into wallpaper.
There was something on board. Something Magruder's whore had made off with.
Sadie. What was it she took?
I don't know. Only the preacher knew. Magruder sent him to get it back at all costs, but the bitch stowed it in the pilot's safe. It sank when the boilers blew. It's under 10 feet of water. You can't get to it.
When the snow's melting. This time of year, the water level's dropped a dozen feet or more.
He squeals like a little bitch, and he tells us more about Magruder's mission. We try to let him go until, well, he decides to get smart.
You son of a bitch!
Don't see many citizens rushing to your aid.
I'm Hoodoo Bro!
You were.
Love that scene. So, with Hoodoo dead and the resistance on top, we decide to waste no time. We're gonna head straight back to Dodge City to get our breakout buddy Soap to get what was on that steamboat. So, let's head out. So, arriving back in Dodge, we find Sheriff Denton tied up. So, we cut him free and ask if he's seen Soap. And he says he has, but he's about to be hung on account of him trying to cheat playing cards. So, we're gonna have to go save him. He's our only shot at opening the safe on the steamboat, so off we go. They have him held up in one of the buildings, so all we can do is get to a vantage point and stop the lynching from there. Shooting the rope and freeing Soap, bars, we protect him until he gets to us, and we make a break for it. Rush into the ferry, fighting the whole way there. We get the slip and continue on our way. I wish there was a little more to do coming back to Dodge while it's a super small city. It would have been nice to stick around a little bit for more than 1 second. But alas, we were just passing through. Magruder hears about Empire and what we did in Dodge, and isn't all too happy about it. Not trusting the group of renegades they work with to get the item in time, he sends Reed as well. We're hot on the trail, coming across a fort that's blocking our way to the steamboat. We don't want to be seen, but we do have to get through.
Here.
Too late.
This zombie-looking mofo is Hollister. He was in charge of the Steamboat massacre and happens to be carrying a familiar gun. Well, can't stay here. It's time for a breakout. Another one. Sneaking around the fort with some new friends, we take out anyone in our way and retrieve our guns and make a break for it. To a native village where we take out some wandering soldiers and team up with the village. They give us more insight to the backstory.
It was a summer, a dozen years ago now. One morning I left camp to hunt on my own. I was skinning a small buck when a mountain lion attacked me from behind. Cat's claws peeled me like an apple before I managed to slit his throat. Ned found me, stitched me back together as best he could. For a week I hovered near death until a Blackfoot shaman brought me out of it. Ned said I come out of it different. Said I moved and stalked like a cougar now.
So you owe the Blackfeet your life.
And it's time to team up with them for another takeover. First a city, now a fort. We're really moving up in the world. But we need to get to that steamboat crash. So we gear up and infiltrate the fort. Through the same caves that we actually escaped through. Fighting our way to the cannons to weaken their forces, we take the cannons, using one to destroy their bunkers, then the second cannon to destroy their ships. Now the rest of the crew can join the fight. This is a fun and fairly intense battle. Like I said earlier, the game just kind of progressively gets harder, but it's so much more fun this way. Now we have 2 more cannons to take. We know where the third one is, and we can use the third cannon to blow up the ammo dump to get to the 4th cannon. It's tucked away somewhere, so let's go find it. Well, finding the 4th cannon, it's a little trickier than the last 3. We have to use dynamite to destroy it before it tries to take us out. Putting that work in, we blow up the final cannon, and the fort is ours. But Hollister isn't here. He already headed for the steamboat. So, you know what that means.
You'll never kill me.
Well, with no help as per usual, we fight Hollister by ourselves while he's chucking dynamite at us and creeping around. He does get cleaned up fairly quick, especially if you cheese the boss fight. This is one boss fight that always used to kind of scare me when I was young, him playing peekaboo and shit with us. I don't know, this dude was just creepy. But this time around he wasn't too bad. In a last-ditch effort to take us out, he rigs himself up, only to blow himself up in the process, and with that being said, Hollister is no more. After this, we get Ned's rifle, one of my favorite guns in the game, and we finally come back to where this all really started, the steamboat, in a simple but nice cutscene.
Come on, Soap.
Fighting more Magruder's men and cleaning them up, we hop on the wrecked steamer and have Soapy crack the safe, finding a gold object, like a piece of a puzzle. Before we can even try to figure out what it is, Reed shows up. By himself, thinking that he can just have the shit, which, of course, he can't. So, another boss fight. He's really not hard at all, it's more annoying. He's on horseback, I don't really like horseback fights, but I personally think Hollister was a harder fight than him, so it's time to finally, with this dude, finish the job.
You can't! I'm unarmed! You killed me and your soul will be as cursed as mine!
This is for Jenny.
Taking out Reed in the coldest way we could, we head back to Soap to see what the fuss is all about. This piece of gold with Latin writing on it seems to be half of a cross. We can't read all of it, it's just one piece to a bigger treasure. Cole seems to think he's seen the other half, so we're gonna head out to get it. Magruder learns of the news that the preacher failed again and puts a bounty on us, as if that would stop us. We've taken out so many people at this point, you'd think he would have learned that well before he just sent Reed and a few renegades to try and get the item by themselves. Anyways, heading out to an Apache camp to get the other half of the cross, we meet with Many Wounds. He gives us the last piece of the cutscene we've been seeing since we fought with the Resistance.
Get inside.
Hide yourselves.
La jihad tishi bikini ya haji. Akida ni itu
Shitani ena hishyed at e.
Shishe, hahodoljish. Shishinina hoting. Gobinina shije, yini bir yishklish.
Bahish ahi. Bechina na hinil.
Me. I'm that kid.
Ned wanted revenge after all these years, but Magruder caught on. If we hurry, we can beat him at his own game. We follow Many Wounds to meet his warriors, and it's here where we go to this place where Cole's family used to live, and just like so many years ago, we fight with Magruder's men. When it's all said and done, Many Wounds tells us where he's seen the same markings the cross had, and it turns out it's on a small mountaintop. So, that's our next stop. Making it to the said mountain, we climb to the spot to find exactly what we were looking for.
Looks like Magruder's already found it.
It can't be that easy. He only had half the cross.
From God's altar. Looks like twixt the tears of God and the spires of heaven, when sun and moon meet,
dusk.
Behold his kingdom.
There, they missed the mark. It's above the mine, not below.
Get it up there on the wall!
Kid, get down!
But of course, it's not going to be so simple. We fight our way down the mountain to go save Soap, and it's this time where Magruder really did bring out the big guns, which makes sense as we're almost at the end of the game at this point. Hopefully Soap doesn't squeal before we get to him though.
Sector.
You gotta dig up, you damn fool, it's above you!
Dig up.
Well, shit. So, he knows that the City of Gold is above him, thanks to Soap. So we blast through the rest of his men, racing to make it to Soap, and send him off to find Many Wounds as he's meeting with Clay for another plan that Cole's got. First things first, we need to take out Magruder's right-hand man. It's intense to say the least, the boss fight. This boss fight always gave me trouble. It still kind of does, to be honest. But it's nothing we can't handle. Cleaning up Dutchy, it's time to take the train and try and beat Magruder to Quivera. We get our boy Clay back, which is always awesome, and we ride the train right into the mine. Blasting through the front gate, starting the first part of the last mission of the game. My favorite part of the game, personally. It's guarded super heavy with a couple Gatling guns and tons of men. We shoot our way through, hopping on a rolling cannon to take out the Gatling guns and anyone else standing in our way, which is a good amount of men. Using the cannon, we dispatch them pretty quick. This part's a little finicky, as one wrong move and you can get gunned down very quick. But moving the cannon to the front entrance of the actual mine, after flipping some switches, we blow it up. Now, trekking through the mines. Slowly, but surely. It's nice to somewhat have a squad of people here with us. I always felt like we had more help in this mission, but it's really only a few guys. And while they're not the greatest help, it feels better to not have to completely go up against an army by ourselves. After roaming through the mines, we come to a turntable that has to be moved manually. We protect our allies while they do so, and they move slow as shit. But we get the job done. Moving forward, blowing up the last blockade before reaching the end of the track for the cannon cart. It's at this point, from all the craziness, the mine is crumbling.
All mountains overmined. It's a death trap. We gotta get out.
Take the men back. I'm not done yet.
Cole is crazy, but we move forward. It was nice to see Clay again, even if it was just for a short mission. We made it to this old city, the one that everyone's been talking about, and I gotta say, damn, this used to look so much cooler as a kid. I mean, it's okay, but I remember it looking better and being bigger. Anyways, we find ourselves in, well, you guessed it, another gunfight, which is nothing too crazy. We handle it, and it's finally time to go up against Magruder after all this time.
My whole life, I've been searching for this.
Has it been worth all the bloodshed?
How can you ask a question like that when your eyes are feasting on such magnificence?
I don't see anything magnificent. Just a fat, one-eyed bastard whose greed has no boundary.
That sounds like Ned talking.
No, this is Ned talking.
So now it's time for the final boss fight. This was the part of the game that used to get me fuming as a kid because of how much I struggle with the other parts of the game, just to struggle hard as fuck with this part of the final mission. I think what it was is I didn't understand what I needed to do to fight him. I thought I could just shoot him, and that's just not the case. In the first part of the fight, you have to get him to run next to one of these like geyser things and shoot it, or even use dynamite or the dynamite bow. The point is bullets don't work, so get a little creative. Eventually he'll start chucking dynamite at you in the second half of the boss fight. So to deal with that, you use your quick draw to take care of him, because our goal is now to collapse the mine on Magruder, and only shooting at him to fill our quick draw meter, and provoking him into throwing dynamite. After a few times of doing this, and he'll bring the whole mine down.
I'd like to shoot you in the teeth, but that would be too kind. Reckon instead I'll take my knife and whittle you some, like you did Soapy, and then slit your throat like you did Jenny. Maybe I'll take this cross and jam it in your good eye and watch you twitch. None of that'll bring back my ma and pa, or all those villagers you massacred, nor Ned who raised me as his own.
Did you hear that? You hear that?
So long, Major. Give the devil my regards.
Wait. Oh, Jesus is coming down. Get back here, you can't leave me like this. Get back here! I can make it worth your while! Damn you! You're never gonna make it! You'll never make it!
many wounds came in clutch, and we escaped the mine, avenging all who fell in this hunt for this lost city that is now just buried. We won. And that was the story of Gun. Hell yeah. I love this game. While nostalgia did paint this game in a way higher regard, I still very much enjoyed this game. Did it age well? Not completely. Obviously, it looks pretty bad compared to today's standards, and the gameplay is a little clunky. But it all relatively works. Well enough. The story is amazing, though when I think about it, it is too short and it seems like a lot got cut in some parts, like being Hoodoo's deputy for 2 seconds, and going right to being a rebel. The pacing wasn't good. The story was good, but the pacing wasn't. But to be fair, I doubt Neversoft was working with a lot of time or a crazy budget. They did enough. All in all, the story was very intriguing from start to finish. The cast really did the damn thing, but like I mentioned earlier, the bill was stacked, so it's no surprise. The soundtrack, which I can't believe I haven't really mentioned yet, is just beautiful. I love a good video game soundtrack, which really ties this game together. Whether you're in a fight or roaming the map, the music just goes off. It's one that I remember fairly well to this day, especially the main theme. The game overall is great, and we didn't even talk about side content, which there's not much, so I'll try to breeze through it. You do have side activities to earn money, boost your stats, and to 100% the game, which if you do 100% it, you get Reed's unkillable horse and the knock cannon gun, which is pretty lit. Back to the activities, some of them are like bounty hunting missions where you hunt a target and either kill them or capture them. Pony Express, where you ride around like a delivery boy, making it to where you need to go as fast as possible. Hunting, which is hunting, and playing poker, which is, you guessed it, playing poker. There is more, but I do forget, and we've already been here a while. I mainly came here for the story. So does Gun get the 10 out of 10 perfect gem score? Well, no, I don't think so, but I would give it like an 8.5. Mainly due to creativity and originality. It is an amazing game, even for its age, but the pacing sucks, and the map lacks a lot. Past that, this game is amazing. While there's nothing wrong with this game per se, I would love to see a remaster, just for the graphics and the gameplay. The cast is so good, I couldn't say do a remake unless you got the whole cast back, which I just don't think would happen. But bringing this game back with some new graphics, and I think people would love this game. It'll always be a childhood favorite of mine, and I'll keep replaying it for years to come. This video was a lot to do, more than I thought it would be, and this game was shorter than some of the other retrospectives I've been working on, so I just want to say, if you made it this far in the video, thank you, you're awesome. I really do hope you enjoyed. Comment down below if you've ever played this classic Western game from the 2000s. Hell, let's just talk about classic underrated PS2 games in the comments. But anyways, that's all I got for you today. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe to see more of what I've done and what's to come. But anyways, thanks for coming, and thanks for watching.